Right. What's going on? Somebody will be so back once again with yet another video. I got that twisted. Right now, we're currently in Armenia. We're in Yerevan, which is their capital city, on a very, very nice day. I think it's like 90 degrees. By the way, this is September. It's kind of nuts. And it's used. I checked ChatGPT. You know, I researched a lot of this country. Found out that the weather is just like this. In the winter, it gets a little cold naturally, but it's sort of moderate. You know, it doesn't get as cold as it does back where we're from. Anyway, we're about to go climb up these stairs right now, the Cascade Complex. And I was just sort of thinking, man, to talk about something a little profound, right? I was in the car coming up here today, man. I was taking the drive. And then I sort of realized, I guess 2 hours into the drive, I was looking around. It was just desolation. I'm just going to call it what it is. There was empty hills, houses on a hill, a mid-renovated house somewhere. And I just sort of realized that I was just driving at 80 miles an hour into oblivion and mystery. Just because I felt like doing it. I saved money. You have to think about it like this too. Whenever you work or whenever you have an ambition that sort of costs money, you are working. You're using your energy. You're using your vital energy. You're using your mental energy. Using even some sort of spirituality in there as well. I guess to keep you sane. Maybe that falls within the realm of neuropsychology. Regardless, you're paying a price, despite how big you may think it is or how small you may think it is, to do what you want. I came on to this country, or to this side of the world again, third time this year, on a whim. Again, I felt, hey, I would like to come to Georgia. I would like to come to this part of the world to check out, the other countries around it. And I'm here again, and it made me think, man, what is that driving force, right? Is that like some sort of fate? Is it some sort of madness or something? Where is it that we get these ideas to do these crazy things? It's the same thing like with Dante Alighieri and his decision to go against the church and denounce everyone that he knew, all these important elites, because he felt that their actions were not in line with God. He decided to lock in, God's will. He decided to lock in on focus, concentration, and wrote the entirety of the Divine Comedy that's held up to this day. He got kicked out of Lombardy for it. Nuts! It's the same thing behind Jonathan Milton's inspiration behind Paradise Lost. It's the same thing behind Shakespeare. Same thing behind Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton's ideas and Leonardo da Vinci's ambitions too. Where does these ideas come from? Because it's the same source. These geniuses, right? These virtuosos of ability and of industry. They don't differ from us completely. The thing is that they tap that latent force, right? That sort of secret, very, very deeply dug aspect about ourselves that is so representative, is a buildup of a lot of our experiences, even as a modicum of our higher selves within this little node in us. The difference between the geniuses, right, and us is that they tap into this force all the time. They're aware of it and they tap into it constantly at will. And then they come out with all these wonderful works, these goods and services that we use to this day. Isaac Newton, the guy who created calculus, we're still using it to this day. Like there's laws of motion, they're still applicable and are not going disproven to this day, And all of this comes from that latent force. How do we get access to this latent force, right? How is it that we even figure it out? Do we even have one? For some of us, maybe we're like very, very social, and the heights of our experiences are going out on a Friday night and speaking to girls or something, and you guys sort of fall upon this video, hopefully, right? And then you liked, you commented, and you subscribed, and then you figured out, wait a minute, I might have this latent force in me too. But I'm a very, I'm a very like of the world kind of person. How is it that I could tap into this force? And even if I do tap into this force, what if it's not for anything as substantial as like, Brahms or Franz Liszt's works or something? I would say, I don't think that you should get into the whole idea of comparison. Comparison not only is the thief of joy, I think it's the thief of ambition as well. Imagine you started out, right, as a YouTuber, especially now in this day and age, right? You start out as a YouTuber, you want to become one, and then you obviously you're gonna have 0 subscribers. And then you sort of compare yourself to like a Sombra del Piso that has 6,000 subscribers, by the way. But you compare yourself to that, to me or someone else that has more subscribers, and then you just completely get crestfallen, and then you abandon the whole flight completely. I'm saying that compare is naturally you're gonna do it, but I don't think that you should allow it to stifle your growth or stifle your ideas or stifle your access to that latent power, so we can find out what your purpose is. Really, the idea with that too, to even get closer to that, is discipline. The whole idea of discipline too is anyone can practice it. It doesn't matter if you're from Portugal. It doesn't matter if you're from Maine. You know what I mean? As long as you cut away the things that you don't need in your life, such as excess sugars, or maybe constantly scrolling at a time, the social media at a time where you could utilize it for cultivating a craft of some sort. The more you learn the more you maintain, because discipline is all about maintenance of a routine, by the way, over a long period of time, to the point where it becomes reflexive. That's really what discipline is. Discipline is not complete. It shouldn't be as thought of as in a crazy way, like what Isaac Newton was doing whenever he would feel aroused by a woman. He'll flagellate himself, and it happened over and over. And a lot of ascetics do the same thing. And there's the comparison thing again, right? I just think, guys, like, we all have, we are very similar. There's the NPC concept, and I don't like bringing this up. I really don't, because it trivializes the human experience. People are very, very similar, yes, but we all have this modicum, this spark that defines us, like uniquely us. And once we find the way to tap into that force, whatever it may be, maybe due to the aforementioned, stop comparing, discipline, and just sort of finding time with yourself to just hone in on whatever that is, right? The more you do that, the more you're gonna find out what the heck it is that you're meant to do. Seriously, don't compare. A lot of people are, going around and doing their thing, and maybe they're placated to some degree because a lot of people are making them feel comfortable with a lot of the things that they're doing. That's not necessarily indicative of that spark that they have in them, and that's fine. It's not up to you to pester them, right? However, it is up to you to try to figure out what the heck it is that you really want to do, what it is that you really want to, what is it you're capable of doing. And that's the challenge. That's the tough challenge. Have I, Sombra del Piso, figured it out? I think I have. I think I've always known it. It's just constantly going forward now, which I've been doing. That's the same force that brought me here to goddamn Armenia. I didn't know anything about this country. I really didn't, besides Kim Kardashian. And then when you come here, by the way, you realize that there's a whole bunch of Kim Kardashians walking around with the same intelligence level, and that's up for discussion in a future video. But to be honest, I just decided to come here and try to dispel a lot of what was being said about this country, or the lack thereof of what was being said about this place, and decided to figure out for myself. And I don't regret it at all. And I think this has to do a lot with that center, that latent force. Guys, be disciplined. Guys, concentrate. Guys, study, and try to take away a lot of the outer voice, right? Once you get rid of that, and then you're just listening to yourself, and you're constantly confronted by yourself every day after day after day, eventually you're going to find that latent force, and then you're not necessarily going to be here in Armenia like me, but maybe you'll be somewhere else doing exactly what it is that makes you feel completely aligned with whatever that force is that governs us and binds us all, right? With that being said, that is all I have to say about that kind of stuff today, guys. If you enjoyed that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Listen, don't ever let this place get you down. Guys, listen, I don't like the NPC theory. I don't, guys. You're never going to hear me be in agreement with that, because it trivializes people. It puts them in little boxes. I don't like using that phrase. People are very, very similar to each other. Yes, it's because they haven't found that divine spark yet. We're ascending. We're eventually going to get there. And for you that saw this video, in that pursuit of trying to find that latent force, you're going to run into opposition, right? That's just naturally it, by the same people, right? Don't be angry at them. They don't know what they do, and they still haven't found that divine spark in themselves. So you just keep going, right? Be confident. Don't get crestfallen. And if you do, just get back up. You know, you fall 6 times, you get up 7. Bible says that. And it's just a very, very realistic, pragmatic way to live. Because you can't give up. You should never give up. And stay radiant, guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Woo!